this is part two actually of the Wrap Chat. I did a live version of the Wrap Chat over on Instagram where you just wrap gifts and you just, talk randomly. So I did it over Instagram a couple of nights ago. So thank you for those of you who were able to log on and to just chat with me. I am totally out of breath. I just got in from Christmas shopping, last minute things. Someone asked for something that they really, really want at the last minute. So I ran out to see if I could get it. Sorry, y'all, we're just going to be real and chat and wrap. So I didn't have a chance to ask about, is there any questions, things you want to talk about while we wrap? So I just went through the comments or thought about some of the comments on Instagram and here on YouTube that people have asked, or conversation pieces, or even on the podcast, and we'll just talk about it while I wrap. I'm not going to try to show you everything. You should be able to I think everything is pretty much in boxes besides one thing, but my family watches my videos, so I don't want them to see what I got them. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope, and we'll just speed through, the randomness if it gets too far. Hopefully it won't be too long. Our goal is for it to not be over 30 minutes. So I don't think anyone is going to sit back and watch me for 30 minutes unless I'm talking about luxury, in which I probably won't be. I mean, a couple of things will probably come up about luxury. But yeah, if you're new here, we do luxury videos, hauls, random videos. I do a lot of luxury tag videos this year. I seem to enjoy those, so I'll probably continue that in the new year. But again, my name is Bonita, and if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. I am BB Prep on Instagram, and then I also have a podcast. It's Bonita on Demand, and it's on all platforms. The podcast goes live. We'll just start there. The podcast goes live every Saturday at 10 a.m. And I've been doing it for, I think, about a couple of months. So, yeah. And on the podcast, we just talk about more focused things. Like the last guest we had was about business. So we talk about more focused things. We talk about love, marriage, dating. We talk about God. We talk about sex. We talk about money, finances, parenting. That was the title. I think it was called 10 parenting tips, top 10 tips for parents. That was what I did on the last one. It's usually me, unless I have a guest, and then my husband will come on, especially if I'm talking about anything marriage or guy related. He will come on. You guys seem to love him on. He will come on and talk. All right, so wrapping gifts. I said this is not my best work. I need to get a pen. I'll be right back. I used to wrap gifts when I was in college. No, I had graduated college. I worked for a store called Dillard's. I don't know if you guys have that in your area. I think it's more like East Coast, Southern, like Virginia on down. I think they're big in Texas. I used to work there. It's kind of like a Lord & Taylor, a Macy's, a Nordstrom. It's more of a higher end, but they have a lot of their own brand things. I worked in customer service, and I was a wrapper. So I learned how to gift wrap appropriately, but my skills are very rusty. If I take my time to do these things, then it'll look nice. But anyway, so the key to wrapping is double-sided tape and good wrapping paper. You have to have wrapping paper that's thick, that can crease well. And if you don't have that, it's going to tear and your gift won't look good. If you have good wrapping paper, if you can't wrap, it's going to look nice because of the paper. Because again, it creases well. That's what they taught me. I don't do bows. I don't have time for that. I used to do all that stuff, but my people just rip things off. So And if you're not saw on TikTok, my daughter sent to me, there is a tutorial how to wrap paper without tape. So you might want to look there. But anyway, all right, so this is one here. Was what's going on with my hand. Well, I do a lot by nature. Again, if you're new here, well, by profession, I'm a teacher. I have a degree in psychology and early childhood education, and so I teach. For the past 10 years, I've taught at home though. My business partner and I started a school, so we teach basically out of our homes. Because we're so small, we can operate like a homeschool, but we're a certified private school in our area, in our state. So it frees me up to do other things. And one of the other things I do requires me to use my hands a lot. And I kind of overworked it. And I'm on social media a lot, like with it's kind of like carpal tunnel, I guess she said. It's not real. It's a different name. I can't remember. But I have overworked like the tendons in my both thumbs. This one is not as bad as this one was. One day I just couldn't like move my thumbs. So I went to the doctor and she was like, you're going to have to rest it. So I am resting it now. And that's what I'm doing. So I have to wear this little brace on it because she's trying not to have to give me like a shot, which I don't want her to. I'm going to, share exactly some of the things that I do because I'm trying to build that business. And, a lot of people ask on Instagram, what do you do for a living? How do you afford this and that? And I'm not necessarily doing it just to, appease people for the nosies out there. I mean, I want to know too. I want to know stuff too. But I only want to know the things that people are willing to share. And I will share some of the things that I do because I want people to see that just because you are in one profession, that doesn't mean that you can't pivot and transfer to other professions, or you can't turn, hobbies into money, things like that, things that you're passionate about. We think that just because we're in like one occupation that we have to stay there forever. Like people don't do that anymore. Like our parents did that, but people don't do that anymore. So I mean, it's fine if you want to, but if you have the need to change and do other things, you just need to be able to. So we'll talk about that more on the podcast. Another question people were asking about was how's my weight loss journey? Well, still fat, as you can see. As I sit in the chair, you see a fat roll here. Still fat, but I'm not giving up. I'm not going to tell you how much I weigh. I mean, you can see that I'm chunky. I'm just fat. Y'all can see that. So I'm not going to tell you how much I weigh, but I need to lose at least 10 pounds, and here's why. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm vlogging. So on the vlog, I talked about I went to the doctor for a checkup, and I was so pumped because I knew that I, had lost weight. Some of my clothes were too big, so I knew I had. So long story short, the doctor said I was still fat. Okay. I was very disappointed, and I said, all right, what am I going to do? So I have been thinking about getting cool sculpting. So I went to a cool, and that's in one of the vlogs. I went into the cool sculpting place, which is a plastic surgeon. My mom had plastic surgery on her. She had a skin situation, so she had to get it reconstructed. So I went to her plastic surgeon, and I said if I ever did anything to my body, he would do it. So I went and did cool sculpting, a consultation. And when I went there, she said, you definitely can do it, but I have so much like stomach fat that Um, she doesn't think I would be happy with the results. Definitely could do it. She just thought that it really wasn't the fat, it was the skin, really. She said the fat would go away, but the skin, because I had my last two children kind of close together. So she said that the stretching of the skin hadn't gone back as it should have, and she didn't think I would be happy with the results because my stomach wouldn't tighten up. Obviously, without exercise, I would need to have it tightened up anyway. Exercise, you can't do anything. If we think there's a magic stick to losing weight without exercise, it's not. You're gonna have to do some form of exercise. You just are. You're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to eat differently and do at least walk. You're gonna have to do something. And then genetics too. If you have good genes, then that helps as well. My mom she's small, and I used to be small too before I started eating too much and having a bunch of kids back to back. But anyway, so I went, and then the doctor, she let me get the doctor, let him look at you really quickly in between patients to see what he thinks. And he came in and he said, yeah, I think you need to get a tummy tuck. Cool sculpting you can do, but you're going to have to do at least 1 or 2 passes. And he charged in his office, it was like $5,000 a session. So typically, that would, you just want to do 1 session. So he's like, I probably need to do at least 2 or 3 to really try to get the results I needed. And so if that's $5,000, if we do 3, that's what, $15,000. So So he said a tummy tuck is cheaper than that. A tummy tuck is probably around 8, if it's all said and done with everything, anesthesia, everything, 8. So I moved over to the office and we talked about it, and he said that I definitely was a good candidate once I lost at least 10 pounds. Because I'm in overall good health, I'm just fat. And I am not opposed, and I think I've said that before, I'm not opposed to Botox. I have a wrinkle right here that I'm working on, and if it doesn't go away or get better in the next, I'm giving myself until 50. That's always been my goal, to do what I can do, lose weight, work on myself, till I'm 50. And if I'm not where I need to be without any medical attention, I'm gonna look into it. I'm not gonna get like a weight loss. I'm not gonna get like, a sleeve or anything, because that would look dumb. But I am going to look into maybe a tummy tuck and definitely some fillers or something here on my forehead. I'm gonna be careful because no shade of Lil' Kim. I won't let Lil' Kim or Vivica Fox. That's the only thing that stops me, because Lil' Kim used to be very pretty. Keyword, used to be. She was like a cat or something now. And Jada Pinkett Smith, she looks a little weird, but she's doing something to her face. But Black people, we probably don't really need to do too much to our face. We just don't age that way. And I think if we're going to mess with our face, we better get somebody who really knows the black skin. So, anyway. So that's the update on that. Still fat, still trying to lose at least 10 to 20 pounds. And then I think I'll be good. I drink a lot of water. I try to watch what I eat. I don't deny myself, because you guys see me. I drink a lot of coffee, but someone tried to come for me about my coffee intake. I do at least, I drink it every day. I drink a cup a day. Some days I do 2 and 3 cups, because if I'm working late, I need it. But I don't put any cream or I don't put any sugar in my coffee. I do creamer, and National Delight Creamer, which has 30 calories per serving. So I usually use a serving, and I don't even put any other. If I don't, I might use skim milk if I don't have that, but I don't do any kind of sweeteners. I may put caramel drizzle around the side. even when I go to Dunkin' or Starbucks, I get sugar-free pumps, and I do the creamer because the creamer is sweet enough. You don't need any more. Okay, another thing that people ask me was, how do I feel about pre-loved items, buying pre-loved items, luxury. I'm gonna try to mumble in a phone. You guys know that I love luxury items. As far as purses, getting into clothing and shoes a little this year, but purses, that's my definitely number one judge. All right, and it always has been. Love pre-loved items because Louis Vuitton is my number one luxury brand. And I have a fond affinity of their older items, like some things that have been discontinued, like the original multicolor items, because those things came out when I was in college and I could not afford them. So I would always just look in the catalog, go to the store and look around for that. Then I got I don't know if I'm going to say this. Okay, I'm going to get some juicy tea. Then I got a boyfriend, not my husband, in college, who was a pharmaceutical rep, if you will, that sold pharmaceuticals. So he started buying me these things, and because he was an unauthorized pharmaceutical rep. Are you with me? He started buying me these things, and so it really fueled the fire. I worked and I would save, but he would, for birthdays, things like that. So I was able to get some of those things. And then when he went away, because he was an unauthorized pharmaceutical rep, and this is going to be bad, but when he went away, those things obviously stopped because I stopped saving for those things because he would buy them. So I went back to wanting and not being able to afford those things because I stopped saving. And then when we broke up, I got rid of, because it was a really bad breakup right before he went away, which was good, thank God, because I didn't want to get pulled into that stuff. But so right before he went away, we broke up. It was a bad breakup, and I sold all of my items, not all, but most of them, just to kind of get back at him, which was stupid because I didn't have those items anymore, but I sold a lot of those items. And he wasn't like giving me stuff every day. It was like birthday, things like that. We dated for like 2 years. So it wasn't like I didn't amass, because he was young too. I didn't amass like a huge collection or anything. I had about maybe four things, I think. So anyway, I fell in love in that era. So it was like the 90s, early 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s Louis Vuitton era. Here's the thing, though, about today's pre-love market. Because luxury has gone up, people are running to get luxury cheaper. So it has driven the pre-love market prices up. So some of the pre-love things, you might as well buy them new if you can find it. So I don't do a lot of pre-love anymore like I used to, because I haven't been able, I'm not as good as my friend T, finding things that are pre-loved and in really good condition. I mean, she goes on a hunt, and I'll link down below some of the places she told me to look. But I've been able to find some good deals on eBay. people are sketchy about eBay, but eBay has set their game up as far as, you know, getting your money back if you do get duped. They absolutely will. They also authenticate themselves. I can self-authenticate. I did a video on that. You need to be, if you're going to buy pre-loved, you need to be able to self-authenticate. So I'll know for sure just by looking at it that if it's real or not. Well, not for sure, but you know, I'll have a good idea. Then once I get it into my hands, I will authenticate it via an outside authenticator, just to kind of, if I'm not confident. But it has driven the prices up. So with that being said, you just really can't find the good deals like you used to be able to. And so I just haven't. I want a Palermo. I've seen that on Fashion File. They're going for like $1,000 and they're in horrible shape. I mean, you used to be able to find that bag. It's like a tote. It's like a big two-handle with a strap. I'll insert a picture if I can. I've seen that on Fashion File, like $1,000 in horrible shape. You know, before I used to see them for like 500 in perfect condition, 300 in perfect condition. So, like I said, their pre-loved is good, but if you can't find a deal, and a deal for me is I gotta at least save at least $200 or more. Cause I mean, I'm like three or four or more. Because if I'm just saving 100, that's not. I mean, that's tax. I just know. I might as well buy it new. If I'm just saving like 100, the savings has to be worth it for me to buy it pre-loved, and it has to be in good condition. Now, the only time that I have made an exception was for Chanel. I have not only have one Chanel item, and I buy pre-loved because Chanel right now with the price increases is totally out of my budget. They are, new Chanel is not. This is a bad one, but I don't care. New Chanel is not in my budget. It's just not, because if I'm gonna buy new Chanel, then I need to get a Birkin. That's what my husband and I talked about. I need to get an Hermes Birkin. I would like a Birkin 35 in black leather, maybe Togo leather with silver, which is I think palladium hardware. My ultimate Chanel bag, my holy grail, is going to be a maxi, a Chanel maxi, either lambskin or caviar. I don't know. It's fine with me. Silver hardware, single flap, which they don't make anymore. So it would be, I would have to get it brand new. I have to get a double flap, and I think they are like 10,000, maybe 8 or 9,000. A Birkin starts around what, 15 now? A brand new small one I think starts around 15. I could probably get a 35 on the pre-loved market in pretty good condition, probably around 9 or 10. So you see what I mean? So new Chanel, you know, that ain't happening, because it's just stupid. I mean, another question that I saw, you know, how do I afford luxury again? What does my husband do? Okay, I'm not going to answer that because my husband is not on YouTube. He has Instagram, but he's not he's not on social media sharing what he does for a living. So we're not going to answer that. You know, one thing we probably need to stop doing is asking that, what people do for a living. You can look at someone's subscribers. You can look at mine. I have it, and I think there's websites you can kind of find out if this person is lucrative on YouTube and making money. And there's plenty of videos on how much money you can make on YouTube, so people can answer their own questions. So if I'm doing YouTube and it looks like, you know, I have X amount of subscribers, you have to have, I think, at least 1,000 to get paid. So I don't have that to get paid with ads or whatever. So I do not have that. So you know that I'm not getting paid. I'm doing this as a hobby. So I do have an outside job. I've shared what I do for a living. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper on the podcast. So, again, but to ask about someone's husband or significant other, okay, we need to stop. So we're not going to answer that. But I did do a video on how to afford luxury. And here's the thing. We can afford anything we want if you work. You got to work, because nothing's free. Somebody's got to pay for it, right? If I get a gift, it might have been free for me. It was gifted to me, but it wasn't free for that person who gifted it to me, right? So with that being said, let's stop, because we're all adults here. And even if we're not adults, children, we're teaching you a lesson. Don't ask people. It's rude, insensitive, and just tacky. How much money do you make? We don't ask people those questions. If I want to tell you and offer it to you, then great, and then we can have a conversation. But if I don't give you a dollar amount, then don't ask. Okay. Another way is saving. Okay. You need to save for what you want. You need to live within your means and buy what you want. I am a Christian, right? We believe in tithing to our church. A tithe is 10% of your earnings, and we tithe to our church. That helps the ministry. We take care of obviously our children, our household bills, and then we put aside things, what we call fun money. Me, I like things. So I like to see where my money is going. So I work because I don't want him to have to always, be the one providing those things for me. And I'm fine to work. We have agreed that we are a two-income family. So even though I work from home, we agree that I need to bring in some money. He is not making me. I mean, if I don't want to work, I don't have to. I mean, I'm not trying. Don't come for me, but I'm just trying to be honest. But because I'm super bougie and I like what I like, want what I want, I decided that I would work and make sure that I have extra money for myself. Do you see what I'm saying? So take it for what you will, take it for what you want. That's what that is. So that's how I afford luxury. I have a job. I don't. If you're not working, if you're in debt, if you don't need to have anything that you can't afford. And that's just like a golden rule. Because when I couldn't afford these things, I didn't have them. That's all I'm at. We're going to move on. That's it on there. Another question, people ask me, where am I from? I've seen that before because of my accent. I live here in North Carolina, and North Carolina is a great state. I love living here. I think it's a great state to raise a family. So I don't think I would ever leave the state of North Carolina. That's why we travel so much. If I moved, the only other state I think that I would live in would be either Tennessee or Texas. So they seem to be very comparable. So, born and raised. Where did I go to school? I went to school here in a college called a private all-girls school in North Carolina. It's called Bennett College. It's a HBCU. If you don't know what a HBCU is, it's a historically black college or university. We have a lot here in North Carolina, so I went to one. And again, my major was education and psychology. So I taught kindergarten at private school when I first graduated college. I did that. It was okay. I realized that classroom teaching wasn't for me. It's funny. I mean, I definitely love to teach, but I knew that I didn't want to be just stuck in a classroom. So that's why I majored in psychology and minored in elementary education. Child psychology was my focus and minored in elementary education, and then went ahead and got the certifications that I needed. So I did that. I knew that I wanted to teach, but I found out that I was more of like a teacher's teacher, like a trainer. So I taught kindergarten for a year. After that, I went into the private sector and worked for a CPA firm. Well, a CPA, an accounting, not a firm, but an organization. It was a nonprofit organization that serviced CPAs. And one thing that they did, they provided the continuing education for the accountants. So I was a director of continuing education. I forgot who this is for. I'll figure it out. So I did that for a few years, but I missed teaching children and being around children. So I did that until I had my daughter, Jordan, who is now 18. So I think I did it 5 years. And then when she was born, I did not go back. I stayed home with her probably about 6 months. So in the 6 months that I stayed home with her, my husband was laid off from one of his tech jobs. He was in the technical field. He was laid off. And so I sprang into action like women do. And I said, okay, well, I will go back to work. He didn't want me to because she was like 6 months old. But then during the time that he was laid off, I found out I was pregnant with child number 3, daughter number 2, because they're only 18 months apart. So I found out I was pregnant. So with that being said, I said, yeah, I'm going to need to go back to work, because he was going on interviews, doing things, and just at that time, the tech industry was having like a lull, and he just couldn't find anything. So he started doing, of course, he's so talented, he was doing things on the side, working for himself on the side, but it just wasn't bringing in enough money and to the level that we were accustomed to. Let's just be honest. So with that being said, I can work, I can do it. So I sprung into action, got a job in early education. And they were looking for an assistant director of that facility. So I interviewed, got the job. I was assistant director for probably about maybe 6 months. The director nominated me to lead the organization, and I did that for 10 years. So I was in charge of an early childhood education facility for over 10 years. I trained teachers. I'm certified to train teachers. I can teach in a classroom if I wanted to. I have the highest level of certification in early childhood. I keep my license active just in case I have to go back into the classroom or led to go back into the classroom. I can. In the last 10 to 12 years, I've been an administrator, but I can teach if I need to. Also certified to do that. I've been tutoring on the side. I've done a plethora of things. So that's a little bit about me. My children, I have 3 kids. One son who is 47, so he is 26. The middle girl is 18, and the baby girl just turned 17. So there's that. It is something that I got from Nordstrom. They gave me wrapping paper, and I have one other gift that's wrapped in this wrapping paper, so they will be the oddball out. They could have wrapped it for me. I just didn't have the time. The line was a little long, so I said that just give me the paper. I'll wrap it myself. So, all right, guys. Well, that is pretty much it. I have one more gift. I'm gonna have to wrap that off camera. It is too big, and I don't have enough room on this table. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Try something different. I hope you guys have a happy and blessed and just lovely Christmas and New Year. One thing that I am still loving is my purse that I'm using for the week. This is week 3 of this bag. It's the Louis Vuitton Graceful MM in the damier. But anyway, again, guys, I hope that you have a great holiday, and I will see you in the new year. And until next time.